Hello, all, and welcome to the Parenting and Punchlines podcast with your most excellent hosts, Dylan and Saro. Join us as we gather around the mics to deliver you parenting tools and tips, or discuss the complexities of some of comedy's greatest minds. Whether it's parenting or punchlines, it's all about delivery.
There you are.
Boom!
Good times.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome, Saro. How's your week been?
We were just talking a second ago about how weeks, I don't know, they're kind of the same. They kind of feel, I don't know, there's always something going on. And we were comparing today to like our kids. You just look at them and they're just playing and just having a good time. You're like, I will trade places with you right now. Just let's do it. But, one of those weeks, we're rolling into some nicer weather, though, so you guys probably are outside a little bit more.
Oh, dude, I am
so cold
about that. Yeah, we had our like sunny day today, so I was like, pulling out the bike, charging it up. I'm about to this weekend. I think we're gonna probably go out either to outside. If it's sunny, I want to get to the beach. I haven't taken that thing out on the dunes, so I'm ready. It goes like 40.
It's dune worthy, dune ready. Does it have the right tires?
Yeah. I could get a paddle tire, but I don't think it's going to be necessary. Like, I'm not going to go out to like soft sand. I'll probably stick closer to the.
Gotta deflate the tires a tad so it can grab the sand.
Yeah. Right.
Just
to a certain extent, and I also have a portable little filler deflator, so I'm psyched. That's what we got that thing for. No gas. You can just throw it in the back. You don't have to worry about seepage and
How long does it last?
Huh?
How long does it last? Like the battery power?
75? No, 60 miles. It depends. 60 miles, full capacity. So you can crank it 40 miles an hour, 60 miles, which sounds like not that long.
60 miles is a long time. By the way, careful of those batteries. I don't know if you've heard these I have an electric scooter, and I charge it outside because if the batteries get too hot, they blow up or some shit. Like, for real.
I don't leave batteries, but also, honestly, I feel pretty it sounds dumb. Power wheels, baby. Like, these are just big power wheels in my mind. I know that.
It didn't take much to move that power wheel 4.5 miles per hour. This bitch goes 40 miles an hour. You know what I'm saying? But way different.
Have you ever seen a battery explode on a power wheel? I'm assuming it's going to be just like way more. I'm just saying that's if you leave it in and forget it. I
have a video. I know this guy, Chris, not the Chris you know. He lives in the East Valley, and his neighbor's house caught on fire because he had 2 e-bike batteries charging in there, and it got too hot in the garage, and that shit exploded. And on top of that, the guy was a hunter, so he had his storage of bullets inside of the garage.
Oh, damn.
Caught fire, and then you can hear the bullets going off, like pop, 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 like a gun or a shotgun. Like is, and he has it on video. The cops are like, "Get away!" Like they're trying to, it sounded like a gunfight on the videos. Like nobody got hurt, luckily, but just watch those batteries; they're not very safe.
Gun safes, yeah. Like,
anyway.
Listen, I will always be careful as best I can, but I don't know. I don't worry about that. I worry about police.
Yes. Well, they're
always they're like, that's the dude.
Yeah, I mean, I think those days have changed for you. I would assume by now. No one's eyeballing you anymore,
No, I think it feels good to be at a somewhat respectable age, where I think your age automatically takes you out of certain, you know what I mean? Like,
Generally speaking, I mean,
if something goes
you do
down, I
most
think
of
most
your,
people are like, "Hey, where did that guy go?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you don't even think it's."
and you're usually not out past 7:30 or 8 o'clock anyway. So all of your doings are, during broad daylight. So
Damn, there's a
that takes
comedian who
the,
talks about that. You know what
what's
I'm talking
that?
about? There's a comedian who talks about he likes that he's older now. He's like, it's much easier to TP's houses. He goes, you just TP the house for fun. He's like, and then you stand up front when the police show up and you're just like, look what these goddamn kids did in my yard.
Oh,
Son of
TP
a
your
bitch.
own house?
No, you TP someone
TP
else's house. And then if
Oh,
the cops
okay.
show up, you just stand in front and pretend it's yours. Like, can you believe this? It's ridiculous. And then you just walk away.
Who is that?
I don't know. I wish I could reference it, but it ain't mine. That's not my bit. Can you hear that?
Not
Delicious.
your bit. What do you got, Guinness?
I do.
Did you have the
Oh,
little? Did you have the spray can ball inside where you have to shake it and you can hear it?
mm-hmm.
The can of Guinness? Yeah, you got the little ball in there, right? To shake the
I mean, can you hear it?
make. Oh yeah,
Oh, look at that. Look what you're doing.
there it is. Nice and slow. Mm-hmm. That's
And it just
that's
drips
it. That's
down and it becomes black. People think it's black.
I
Brown.
still
It
have
becomes-
your pint glasses you brought back for me from, I believe, Ireland. I think.
Yeah. The Guinness
Yeah, the Guinness one, and there was another one too. I can't remember.
factory, baby.
Yes. So those are still alive and well. I've broken a few other ones along the way, but I had a really nice one that it was for wine. That's why I drink with a stem now. It's tragedy, but anyway, mine was stemless, and it was a St. Louis Cardinals logo, NFL logo on the back. But it had it for like 15 years, and it broke. It happens.
It does. And it's hard to replace some of those old things, but what are you gonna do?
I did look on eBay. It was $30. I'm like, I'm not gonna buy a $30 glass. I'm good. And it wouldn't be original because I paid 25 cents for that one at a Goodwill.
Oh, okay. No, I hear
Like
you.
15 years ago. So I'm like,
Is that the best? Dude, I love
hell yeah.
I'm
I mean,
addicted.
I can't stand Goodwill anymore, but
Yeah,
those
Goodwill's
bastards.
gone up in price to where you're like,
Those
are you serious?
bastards.
$500 Goodwill?
That and no one gives a shit in there. Nobody cares. Like their motto should be customer service ? Like, what? Oh, you want me to help you? Oh no.
Oh no.
Whatever.
Yeah, I
can go
don't
on
think
and
I've ever been into like there's two of them that I'm like, do you guys have dressing rooms? Because they don't seem to be opening or operating. And I don't know how they cannot be operating. They're not operating. I'm like, what does that mean? Can you explain that to me? I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure it's a room.
what does
Like,
the dressing room do?
operate at all times. Like, are there
Is the
no walls?
latch the latch on the door broken? I mean, I can deal with that.
I'm gonna need more explanation. Don't walk away.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Out of order. How can a dressing room be out of order? What the
Yeah,
hell?
like, and there's five of
Bathroom
them.
Bathroom I get. Anyway, real quick. So Aaron texted me like a week ago, well, the day after the show last week.
Yep.
What's your address? And I was like, what are you up to? And look
Mhm.
what she was up to. Got my own copy.
Boom! I love to see
And,
it.
You guys, just so y'all know, I freaking hate reading, but this one's important. I do. My wife reads 50 books a year, 30 books, whatever it is.
Oh, dude.
I do
winner,
just,
man.
I'd rather listen to it. So, but I did read the prologue, and then now I'm in chapter 1. I'm good 27 pages in already, which is like a record for me.
Nice. Proud of you.
Interesting stuff. I highlighted a couple things I want to go over, maybe.
Yes.
But
freaking copy.
the first chapter's like, all right, let's go, because they're talking about A/B lines, and it's just a setup. It's a huge setup. I'm like,
it's just. I mean, but it's at least intriguing to show like how the difference in your thinking can change.
Not the author's fault. My fault. I'm impatient.
Oh,
trying to get to it.
Jump to it then if you want to.
I know, but I'm afraid I'm going to miss something. But they are right with the. By the way, one of the writers or scientists is an Armenian fellow. Did you know that?
Oh, I do.
Yes.
homie.
Yeah. I read that. I'm like, all right,
book.
cool.
Like,
the weirdest people in the world. The 3-page paper titled, and weird's an acronym for where'd it go?
Yeah,
It's an acronym for something.
Totally. And every time somebody asks, I'm always like, it's like Western, educated, industrial.
Industrial, yes. But basically, what that first chapter was saying, and the prologue kind of both, we do things here in the US way differently than
here
it's
it is.
done.
No, you're right. It's Western, educated, industrialized, rich, and democratic for sure societies.
Yeah, I mean, they compare it to a dozen or 14 other countries, and not comparing us to them, but it's just different. Like the examples of kids, basically kids in different countries are like more willing to help, get along with their siblings. It's just kind of touching on that kind of stuff, and like the reward system. You just have to read it. There's a ton of information on it.
I mean,
not on it. There's a ton of explanation going on.
What do you think of the writing so far, in your opinion?
I like it. It's a tad bit long-winded, but other than that, I mean, I'll stick with it because I like learning new shit, right? Sure. Especially when it comes to parenting, because it ain't easy. But I have like high hopes for this book. By the time I get to the end of it, I feel like I'm gonna have like this golden key, and I'm gonna open it up and just have all this new stuff that I can use with my kids. So I just getting the book and looking at the cover, I've already felt like I've gotten better at parenting. No joke.
No, I mean, it's exciting to hear you say all those things. So I am definitely like, I'm not, no joke, dude. Let me know all your thoughts.
Was it life change? Did you read it all the way?
Oh yeah, dude. I've read this twice. I highlighted the whole freaking thing. I folded pages in. Like I have a certain style of when I read a book, certain things that mean something to me. So if I'm using it as a reference source, like if I read it and I'm like, and instantly, sometimes you can see like, holy shit, this is going to give you information. This is exactly what I want. This is hitting me on a lot of different levels. I instantly start going, okay, cool. Highlight, fold pages in half. There's also this little cross-section thing you can do with books. So it just gives me information like, hey, this entire page is good, or this section is noteworthy. So later on, I can go back through and kind of take that information. And I've always done that, like over the years, just for parents, because I was always looking like parents always come with a bunch of questions. And the problem is a lot of times they're looking for like, hey, can you summarize in like a couple of sentences what to do in this given situation? And it doesn't work that way. Like a lot of it is conceptual. So it's kind of hard because it's like, because once they start unraveling the situation, I'm like, holy shit, there's so much wrong with what is going on with that given problem. So it's like, there is no thing I can give you. Like you really shouldn't have them up that late, that much sugar, that much stimulus on a school night. Like, of course, all those things are going to go awry, right? Like there's so much.
Does this book touch on that kind of stuff? Or are you talking about what we write in our books?
No, this to me was all those things that parents asked that they're like, what do I do in this given situation? And how do I do this? And they're, all the things that they kind of gripe about. I'm like, this book exemplifies what to do in the daily life. And it does it in a way, in my opinion, that makes you feel like I could do that. Because sometimes you hear like advice from a book or from another person and you're like, yeah, but that's not my style. Like, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't do that. So it feels alien. So you don't do it. Where this, I think, is such an agreeable way. And it's so like,
of course. There's even like a little thing on the bottom. I don't know which page it was, but it was, I like that she's stat driven because she does bust out some really good stats.
Right.
About, I gotta find it. I don't know where it is, but I should have been more prepared. But she has stats that basically she calls the American way of raising children the Western way, right? Mm-hmm. And it's a bit of an outlier, hence the 23-page document on Weird, which goes through and kind of compares us to other countries and things that we do. And plus, parenting here is like so infant, right? It's only been around for 50 or 100 years or whatever it is. So I'm excited to see what she finds out or learns in other parts of the world. I mean, she has a cool job, and now she's like, well, I'm going to start doing this part of it now. So
Yeah.
on the
It's
company's dime. So she didn't even pay to go to all these places. The company paid. She did her work, and then she did her side work, and boom, you got a book.
Can you imagine, like, what an opportunity, like, to experience?
Sounds like a smart lady to me.
I mean, traveling the world and do it with your daughter.
With your kid.
Right. And you get
Now,
to learn.
I didn't catch, she's married, right? I didn't catch that. She hardly mentions her husband, but I think she is married.
I think so. I mean, I'm pretty sure.
Briefly touches on it. Maybe she left him out of it because just to make it more about her and the kid. I don't know.
I don't know.
I thought in the beginning she mentioned him.
Think about that, to be honest with you, when I was
reading. But yeah, moms and dads. You know, if you guys want something to read, and even if you don't like reading like me, this is it so far. You know, only a little bit in, but already a good book. So I would have eventually gotten around to buying it, but you guys beat me to it. So thank you.
No, I saw you. Well, and this is just how I love to support any person in my life. I saw you jot it down in the first and second episode. So I was like, okay, he's writing it down. It's important to him. I often write myself notes and then find them way later than I anticipate, right? Just because that's just life.
You're absolutely right.
And also, this is new for both of us. So I was like, so this is a new cycle. Whatever notebook he's using, he might have got his own, because I do this. He might have got his own notebook to be like, this is for my podcasting. This is for my thing.
Right.
It's separate. And you're, you know, I just know you as like that kind of like.
That's how it starts, but you never follow that thing. No.
Well, also you have to like, since it's so new, like it takes a little bit to get going. So in my mind to support you, I was just like, hey, let's just go ahead and buy him that book. I just need his address. Like in this
thing came the next day. Aaron's like, what's your address? And like 13 hours went by and that shit was at my front door.
Yeah.
Like,
that's what I love about Amazon, dude. Because I was just like, it's too especially with books. Like that's what I love about Amazon. Is they started with books, they're strong.
Yeah, they started with books. They're super
you want a
strong.
book? I've had the same afternoon. I ordered a book. It's just there's a whole series. This other series I was reading, it was just pretty awesome. So I was just like, oh, I'm gonna get this next one, and boom, that afternoon I ordered it like 7:30 in the morning, and then boom, I was like dumbfounded because I was like, no way.
You live in a metropolitan, Portland, Phoenix. You live in a big city. There's a good chance there's a half a dozen Amazon buildings sprinkled around you. So,
for sure.
And if this company amazes the hell out of me. They're like incredibly efficient and so dialed in. Like talk about autonomy at its absolute peak. So, but and then others say Amazon's ruining the world, but it's so convenient. It's like, I was ordering dog food on there for a while until they stopped carrying my dog's food. They had to switch brands, but that's an 80-pound bag, man. Like, you can't deliver that shit. I'll just drag it in the door, Like, free delivery? Hello, no brainer,
We get food, kitty litter. Like, we get a regular Amazon order. I mean, for everything. We have stuff for this, our business, stuff for the school, stuff for home. And
for me, no judgment to anyone, but I kind of still like going out to a store and buying stuff for some reason. I just like to go and
I like to shop, but
peruse. Home Depot is one of my favorite. Go cruise around. Nobody knows anything in there, but anyway, certain things. I mean, there's certain things you get for real cheap on Amazon versus the hardware store. So
for me, once I see like that everybody has to do like everything's like self-checkout, self, and most selves out there are fucking idiots. So that's where I'm like, I'll just be like,
Oh, you mean the
the
cashierless checkouts, the self checkouts?
everywhere.
It really depends on the system. Like some places have it dialed in, other places don't. Have you seen the one at Circle K where do you have Circle K's there? I don't remember.
I don't.
I don't think you do.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's this platform. You put all your shit on there. Let's say you got like a pack of gum, an energy drink, a water, whatever. You put it on there. It scans it. Boom. That's what you owe. You don't even have to scan it. It just reads it
Oh, that's
from.
awesome.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, the design. It looks clunky, but it's really smart. It's just like boom. Hey, just tap your card and you leave. So, um, the future is here for sure.
That is pretty cool.
So what else? What else is going on? We touched on the book. Great book, you guys. If you're listening, check it out. Hang on. Tell these people where to get it. Amazon. Hunt,
Amazon.
gather.
I mean, Hunt, Gather, Parent. I'm psyched. I'm so pumped for you to read the rest of it. It's just really cool. I love learning about other cultures. I love learning about other perspectives. It's just interesting in my mind to think like if I were born somewhere else, that's how I would think, act. I would have certain perspectives. I would have certain beliefs. I would have certain access to information more so than others or less than others. And that's just, I don't know, just boggles my mind to just like wrap your head around that because it's not easy because you're coming from another experience and a perspective, right? So this is parenting, and that is one thing that I think is just another really cool, intriguing thing because parenting is just, to me, adjacent to what I do, teaching, right? So when you're talking about those things, those are to me, those connections you're making to have an impact with the skill sets that you can pass on to another person. And I love it, especially in that, like, as in my friend network is like starting to have kids because that's a natural thing is the passing on of knowledge because you're a parent, right? That's like the entire
Without being like pushy and hey, here's how you should do it. You're just kind of like, somebody needs a
oh,
little
it's just part of
nudge or help.
existence.
But the people sometimes there's people like, oh no, you got to do it this way. Trust me. Like you're like, all right, take it easy. Like, I'll take the advice, but some people are too pushy with it. So this book for me is like certain things you're at wit's end. You're like, I do not know how to. Like she mentioned, her toddler would. Whenever she picked her up, she would slap her across the face. Like,
dude,
holy shit.
Yeah.
What do you do as a parent? You're just like, mother,
right. You're like,
just about to lose your shit. So, when you get to your wit's end, it's good to be able to, well, let's see what other people are doing. Let's see what's going on here. So,
right.
Great.
And that's the thing that I think triggers. Dude, it's just such a great book. Honestly, I'm so excited for you to read it because I think all the things that trigger you as a parent are in this book because she has like her description. I'm like, damn, okay, I feel great about my kids.
Her daughter seems like a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
But she's 2.5, 3. Like they're all insane at that age. Doesn't matter.
Well, especially like depending on what influences and stimuli you're giving. Like as she described in the first chapter, right? Weird parenting, certain normalcies aren't normal. We just feel like we are because that's what we experience. So you pass that on. And then you start seeing a reaction in your kids and you're like, what's going on? And when you really think about it and start like deducing critical thinking and logically, you start seeing like, okay, well, that makes sense because if I'm, say, giving them a dessert all the time, but it's right before bed, it's like, well, that doesn't benefit them because now I'm fighting them against the sugar rush that naturally comes, especially if, depending on what they ate, depending on what they had, and how much afterwards and how soon afterwards they had also like, television stimuli, etc. So you can kind of see it from your own perspective too, because I think we as people feel that and then can pass that on.
Yeah, we're like learning how to parent, because again, everybody all around the world's been doing it for a couple thousand years or whatever, more. Can't remember what you said, but we've been doing it for 100 years, and even down to 50 years or 30 years ago or whatever it was, when newborn should sleep on their stomach. That was recommended 30 years ago or whatever. Well, then now it's on the back, so they're just trying new stuff, rather than maybe going out and seeing what everybody else is doing out there and maybe working together like this book is doing. So yeah, I'm curious. So the goal for me is a chapter a week. I know, whoa, take it easy. I know, don't read too much, but
Whoa, dude,
a chapter a week, because I'm really freaking busy at work, at home. So if I can sit down for, 5 minutes a day. The other day, or when I got the book, I tried reading the prologue, but here's what happened. Interruption, kids, phone goes off, door knock, and it was like 5 p.m. So it's busy time. So the only time I could read it is either really early before everyone gets up, or around this time when they're in bed. Wife's in the room watching TV, I can take 20 minutes. So the goal is one chapter a week, and then we can maybe talk about it. So this could just turn into like a book podcast or something.
Challenge. All right, one chapter a week. I'm going to reread it with you because.
All right, so I'm on 1 right now, so I'm gonna double down. I'll have 1 and 2 done by next week. It's like we're like in a book club, you know what I mean? Like a nice little book.
Talking about, baby, clang it. Anybody else wants to join us? We're reading Hunt, Gather, Parent.
Mm-hmm. Chapter 1 and 2. Assignment due by next Wednesday, a week from today.
I love it.
When do these drop? Thursdays?
I pretty much upload it by Friday for sure. I think I have it uploaded by Thursday, honestly.
What if we just start going live? You can go live on this thing on StreamYard. You can just go boom, YouTube live. It'll just unedited, pop it through.
If you're down, well,
I'm totally down. I'm totally down to go live. Let's do it live. The words of Bill O'Reilly.
If we do a live, then let's do this. Let's promote it. Give it a couple, so that way people know. Because if people know, then they can chat and ask questions and participate.
True.
Because you never know. There might be people who already, from me and you saying from the first time, like, hey, buy this book, have tried it or listened to the audio. They might be ahead. I don't know. And you never know. Some of my staff and our colleagues and or parents, hopefully, might be tuning in and checking it out. Hopefully they're excited. Oh, you know what? I have to do my due diligence. We have some deaf members in our community, and I don't know if this
might be able to close caption on this thing.
It should automatically, right? I don't know. I'm going to look into that. I'm going to do that's my.
I'm sure it can transcribe, but it just depends on how good the software is to pick up. Like for me, if I ever do talk to text, like Siri F's it up all the time. Maybe I don't talk well enough. But
right, I can look over it.
Doesn't work very well.
Because I listen to them, so I can look over it as I'm listening, just take a peek. But I think this transcribes when I upload it. I just one of those, you should do this is you make a blog. So when this transcribes it automatically, you put it on the blog. It's just like a whole nother thing.
There's so many work.
It is. It's more work than I want to do.
You need like a freaking team.
Like you need. I'm like, damn, I haven't posted this to Apple or what's the other one?
Let's go like Spotify and all that stuff. Like keep it at the baby step for now, because it's a lot of work, and this whole technology part outside of plugging in my microphone into my interface there and getting on here, I don't know do any of that other stuff, because it just over my head. Can't do it. We need a producer.
You know what? Like you're doing baby steps, right? You're doing a chapter a week. You just have to for me, same thing. I didn't know any of this, so I had to rip that, take that little music thing. I tried using the other one. It didn't work. I played with it for a little bit, but just like when you're, screwing around on the drums, like you think about it, you try it, and then if it doesn't work out how it works out, you think about how to make it work out. But along the way, you always learn
drums
something.
are. Yeah, I mean that is a decent analogy. The only part I don't agree with is drums are more analog, and this is more like, it's a computer, so it's a little, I don't know, like this. How'd you figure out how to add the song in the beginning? Like, I think I tried for 20 minutes, and I was like, I don't know, I quit.
So when you
Like,
go
did it take
into,
you long? No, you don't have to tell me how, but like, did it take you a while to figure that out?
I just played with it. Like
Yeah.
the one thing I try to do, especially with something I'm not familiar with, if I'm really like 100% like, I don't know, I try to just go with it and not
Like experiment.
just not stress about not being good at it. You know what I mean? Because I'm not good at it. It's new. So I just
I'm
play.
afraid I'm gonna like mess something up and like break something. So that's why I'm like, I don't know.
Oh, that's impossible. There's no way to break it if you're clicking the
Yeah.
buttons that are offered to you. For me, it's just like the only thing I can do is make a file in my mind is make a file that I don't like, and then I have the option to delete it. So, okay, I can do that. I will. And that's what I did. Like to make the like for instance, right now it's called Parenting and Punchlines Podcast Intro number 2. Okay. That took a while to get to. It started off as this rock intro and then PPP rock intro 4. And I'm only reading this because I didn't care about fixing the numbers. So it always just is the number 1 or whatever. That was the
Right.
number 1. That was number 4 was the one that sounded the best out of maybe 12. And that was
Can
the
you
rock
get rid of the other 11 and relabel that one like intro song or whatever?
label it. I'm the type of person where it's like, nobody else sees it. I don't care. Like, I know that one's the one
True.
that's the goal. So to me,
It's funny
that
how
stands
brains
out.
work differently. For me, I would have to delete all of them and just keep the one and name it like master intro or something like that. Like
Right.
this is the one. That's just how my brain works.
Oh, I totally get you. And
Yeah.
that's, I think, where, like Aaron's similar. So we sometimes we just differently. So working together is like I think honestly it's been an extreme challenge, but also a benefit to our marriage, just because it's forced us to really communicate how we perceive things, because that's the number one thing, in my personal opinion, that makes a relationship tough. Is you can literally say the same words, but that person will receive it in a different way and be like,
Yes.
I thought you meant this. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm glad we talked about this. No, that's not what I meant.
Exactly.
No, not at all. Like, that is not.
Yeah,
You thought
a lot of it.
How did you get what I said?
A lot of
I'm
assuming
boggled,
occurs.
right, and vice versa. She's boggled, like, how did you mean that? And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
cool. I am so glad we talked about this.
Yeah. You avoid any conflict or any arguments that are probably pointless, right? So yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, so I played with it and I got to a point where I felt confident in just, the few tools that I was working with to produce. Okay, cool. I can get some background music. And then from our conversations, the intro that you liked, the script, I was like, cool, this sounds good to me. I like it. So I'll just say that over the music. And then it just took a couple of times to like the music, there's different tools. So I was just trying to like have it come in at certain times. And because there's like a 3-minute song and then you pick whatever section you want. So that's what I had to do. And then timing it. And I think you said you wanted it to come in at a different time, which I could do. I just have to like sit down and give it, like I said, to tweak it that specific, I'd have to sit down a little bit longer because I'm not that skilled. It took me a little bit to get to that point. But for now, I was just like, whatever, work with it. We will get a producer. It'll get there.
So jumping to over the weekend, our good friend Joey got married.
That's right.
Married. I'm trying to find a picture. I'll keep looking for it. But yeah, it was a good little ceremony, and the usual suspects were there, of course, along with like his family, her family, and all that stuff. So yeah, he's married. Kyle, you know Kyle.
Uh-huh.
He listened to both the first 2 episodes. He got all excited because his name was mentioned in the second one, I think. So yeah, Kyle.
Dang it.
Kyle with no last. Yeah, he's famous. He is a famous guy.
So
We
if
should tell
anybody
some.
doesn't know, some of you might, because some of you are probably our fan base is like everybody we know.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Kyle is a member of Wanky, our amazing.
Our fake band we put together in 2001, and people thought it was real for a good decade, maybe longer. Not sure.
Listen, it's impressive how
We took fake studio photos at one point at my apartment. Remember that?
Listen, I got pressure. Like people were pressuring, like, "Hey, like,
Oh
what?
man,
You guys need T-shirts?" I was like, "Listen, I just work at Brugger's Bagels, okay? I'm
exactly. I'm
just
your
like,
bagel guy.
this is all Kyle's thing. Like, you got to talk to him."
Yeah, I mean, talk about taking a back seat. I was just, you're like, all right, you're the drummer in the band. I'm like, okay, that was it. And then he
You're
made
like
up
the
the whole
only real
story.
musician in a band.
The only person that could
You're
play
the
an
drummer,
instrument. Yeah.
dude. Like,
Well, I leave and come back to Phoenix, and then Kyle makes up the elaborate story about how I broke my arm and got kicked out of the band and yada yada yada. So, he had it nailed down, and then we had a reunion tour. You remember that a few years later.
yeah, yeah,
Um, it's it was fun. It's a good
yeah.
time.
Well, it's
I'm
low
trying to
pressure.
find a single photo of the wedding, but I can't find any. Anyway,
Wait, dang.
congratulations. They're on my.
Oh,
I
phone.
don't know how to get my. No, they're on my phone, but I should be able to access it on my computer, but I can't find my photos anywhere. I'm doing something wrong, but anyway.
That
But
happens.
congrats to those two.
Yeah. Congrats. I don't know how to do applause. We should do that. I should probably get an applause. You know what? Yeah. Music.
Like a
Like,
an app that
woohoo!
that does drops or whatever.
For sure, dude. Some sound effects. That'd be fun. Lasers or something.
Hotkeys, virtual background. Nope, got nothing.
Mhm. You know what? I also have I looked at excuse me, apologize. Some of our emails.
Oh, I was
We
gonna
got
say any questions or emails that we can go over. Not go
one of
over,
them.
but talk about.
I didn't look honestly in the last like 4 days, so there might be something. But I did have a request about the school. Let me see if I can share this. Oops, that's not what I want to do. So I had some questions about the school because on my Facebook, I'm pretty sure my Facebook and Instagram profile, it mentions that I work at and an administrator of and founder of Bridge City Montessori School, a deaf and hearing and hard of hearing school, Montessori school, basically. So it's
Yep.
it's a bye school, so bilanguage, bicultural. And how do I
What are you trying to do?
present? That's how it is. Present. I'm
Yeah,
trying to
hit the
share.
bottom button. Thing on the bottom.
All right, Facebook for sure. That's actually why I made this post. Can you see that?
Yes.
All right,
Let me
cool.
expand it so I could see it larger. There we go. That's much better.
Sweet.
That's your place.
So, that's the building, baby. So this actually was a firehouse originally built in, it was like 1918. It burned down because it was a wooden structure, and then they rebuilt it in 1927. So this is the original structure from 1927. And I don't know if you can you see a mouse on there?
Mouse. Like your mouse?
Yeah,
Or an
like
actual mouse? Okay.
Okay, you
Making sure.
probably.
I'm literally looking for a mouse. I'm like, I don't see a mouse.
Oh no, I meant like my mouse browser.
Your cursor? I do not see your cursor.
There you go, cursor. Thank you for fixing that. Anyways, you see the only big square white box That's where the fire
Oh.
truck parked.
On the right, the garage?
Yeah.
Is that
So that's
garage
just a wall
functional?
now. Oh no, it's
Oh,
not a
it's just a wall. Okay.
wall. Yeah, that's just a wall now. We're actually gonna once the rains
So
are over.
that's how small those fire trucks were back then. Look at how small that garage is.
Oh, dude, for sure. It was tight too. So that's actually the toddler's room now, and that's where the fire engine used to park.
So
And then
that's an
between
A-frame.
the
Is that
walls,
2-story?
yeah,
It's 2
actually
stories, so it does
3 with the
that
basement because it's a
with the
full base.
basement.
Yeah.
So when you go in that A-frame part, you see the walls, is it like that or is it boxy up there?
No, you can see the beams because right
Nice.
now it's just an attic space because in the toddler room there is a kind of a false wall, and you lift up this fake wall. So you push it all the way up, and once you do that, there's a shaft. And the shaft, because let me see if I can go back to the other pictures. I'll show you on the side. You can probably see it better.
You have
So,
a secret compartment to get to the attic.
oh, look at you. I'm so proud.
It's a
Proud of
beautiful
this
house.
school,
Yeah.
baby. We got a firehouse, babe. Look at you. So, I don't think you can see the window on this side. In the back, there is another window. You can kind of see it over here, over on the right-hand side. It's basically another window. And this is when we right here. This is the dragon because we celebrate the Chinese New Year. So we make a dragon.
Oh, right.
We march it to the library, but I don't think
What's that fire truck doing there? Just visiting? Saying what's
Yes,
up?
this is a firehouse, and what happened was we were the neighbors because we occupied the church nearby, and we rented there, so we had the school there. The firefighters were our neighbors. They were really cool. We would make them pancakes, and they would come by and ring the bell and let us check out the trucks. So that's how we made the connection, and they let us because it used to be a firehouse. Then it was decommissioned and made into the Firefighters Association. So they look out for the firefighters' benefits and programs and supports, and they all meet there. So we would see firefighters left and right. And one day they were just like, hey, this is just too small. We were trying to keep the building in some way for a community-based support. But, one of the connections we made fell through. They just bailed on us. And we had a contract about to be drawn up and this firefighter was heated, dude. So I was just like, hey, I'm a teacher. We're trying to find a building. We're trying to find a, community center for deaf kids, and we can build them up. And Montessori is the philosophy we think that would most suit them and include them, but also kind of create a cohesive environment for hearing and deaf kids to kind of support each other. And he was like, I love that idea. I would want to support you. Let's do it. So we just connected. And because of that, long story, sorry, they visit as much as they possibly can. I was trying to get used to the alarm system. So the first couple of times I triggered it on accident. Let me see if I have any more pictures before we roll on. Yeah, that was the end of them. These are all the pictures. Oh man, look at you. Yeah. We had to paint it. Look at you. Fantastic.
You painted the outside?
Mm-hmm. That the yellow used to be everywhere, and then the blue highlights used to be this dark red that was peeling and flaking. So we didn't do much. I painted the white, the
trim.
blue,
Yeah, you did the trim.
the trim, and it just made it pop. And then even the yellow, we didn't notice how yellow it was, but I was like, I like it actually.
When it contrasts against the. So I'm glad you didn't paint the brick because that is.
Oh no, absolutely
don't ever paint the brick.
Yeah, there was no way I was going to paint the brick. Yeah, even the firefighters were like, it's a firehouse. You better not. I was like, nah, man, listen. I wanted to keep as much as possible. I still have old doors and hinges and hardware. The basement was where their cubby area was. So they had all these old cabinets where they just would store their gear and stuff. And we converted that into an art studio. So now it holds all these different cabinets.
So the cubbies were already there.
Yeah.
And you just got to reuse them for
dude,
art
so
stuff.
made sense for what I wanted to use. So I could utilize a lot of it. I just had to hide a lot of, like, for instance, that shaft I was telling you about. In the wall, there's a shaft that leads to, it's crazy. Like, if you visit, I'm taking you. If you want to
Yeah,
go,
I gotta come out for sure.
But anyways, there's a hidden shaft in the wall, and once you go up the shaft, there's this old step ladder thing. It's made of steel. You go up to the top. There's this pillar. You step on that, and then you go through a door that's just floating. And once you go through the door, you're in the entire upstairs section. And the upstairs section was where, like, they used to have this hardwood floor, and then once they started not using it, that's where all the heating and ducts, and they just ripped up part of the floor to put it like an
So they
electrical.
ran a bunch of stuff through there. So it's not like a functioning.
In such a destructive way, which sucks because it's just nice flooring and awesome. And that's where they used to like.
I gotta see photos of this. You should have photos for next week. I want to see what this
No,
looks like.
those ones.
I always loved the old homes like that. So when I did some work in Detroit, I saw a ton of houses like that would be basement, first story, second story, and then the attic would be like the size of a bedroom. You literally walk up one more flight of stairs, past the boiler, up to the last room, and it was a tiny little room with a little window, and it was just
boards are like 2.5 inches thick. The flooring, crazy. You're just like,
have you seen a 2x4 in 1946 versus today?
Oh,
way
yeah.
bigger. You know what I mean? So shit was built stronger not because they're trying to. It's just more expensive. So that 2x4 costs, a quarter of what they cost today, and they were larger. So, but yeah, those old houses built in the early 1900s were sturdy.
Yeah, but also 100 years ago, those trees that they were cutting down were up for centuries. Where now they're growing forests to cut them down 30 years later. So the difference in that density of
and you look at the what are they called? Those little swirls?
The rings.
Yeah, the rings, much different. But this isn't a what do you call it? This isn't a carpenter show, but you should check it out. 2x4 size difference.
No, it's true.
So, but yeah, you should get some pictures of that next week or for next week because attics are cool. Attics and basements are cool, I think.
I love old buildings.
Finished attic, finished basement. Very cool.
The college I went to, Marylhurst, same thing. They have some buildings that were built 1890s, stuff like that. So when you're going into these old spaces, you're just be like, wait a minute, oh, this is like some of their staircases. You're just like, this is insane. Like, because you can see
they don't make it like that anymore.
Not, right?
They don't.
Oh man.
For many reasons. So our summer trip, we're gonna go to. We've never been to. We're gonna go to Canada because we do that every year almost, but because her family's up there. But we're gonna go to Portland, Maine. Wrong Portland, I know, but we're going to Portland, Maine.
What do you guys? What's the plan?
What's that?
What's the plan?
The plan is to fly to Portland, Maine, hang out there for 4 days, then slowly start driving to Montreal, which is 5 hours away. But we're gonna hit somewhere in New Hampshire that's like a lake town. Stay like a night at a lake house. It's super cheap, and then go to Vermont, and then make it up to Canada. So, reason we're doing that instead of our like 10 other ideas we had because I've never been to those states. I've never been to New Hampshire, Maine, or Vermont. So, and I've been to like 35 states. So boom, I can knock 3 more off. But a lot of my states are East Coast, West Coast, Midwest. Nothing, technically it is East Coast, but I mean, Maine is the tip, way up top there. So, and
do you have a certain list, like things you're trying to check off? Maine or
nothing too crazy, but yes, there is a loose itinerary. So Portland's where we're staying, and you can do day trip. Rented a car, you can do day trips an hour away in any direction and go see something new. But the reason I brought that up, old ass buildings, buildings. I mean, you're talking 1880s, 1870s. We're gonna see some old stuff, which I freaking love. Lighthouses, sign me up.
Oh
Hit the
yes,
lighthouse.
dude. Oh man,
Yes.
they come out. We'll
Yeah.
do a lighthouse tour.
I love lighthouses.
Oh, dude, there's so many cool, like, especially along the Oregon coast.
Yeah.
There's haunted lighthouses. There's one of the world's, it's like highest point but smallest lighthouses, because they didn't have to build the giant lighthouse, because they're like, we're gonna put it on this cliff and you can hike right to it, go
That's
up
smart.
everywhere. Yeah, it's so cool. Yeah, no, I agree. I think just as I got older, super fun. There's also like a military, old military bunker and base, if you want to go check that you get to go everything.
All about that. All about it.
Cannons, climb some cannons. You want to go into this old industrial, like they have the machinery, all the gears. You can just like crank stuff. Like Aaron's always like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, I don't know. That's
making
cool.
the wheels go. It's heavy. Like,
yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's so fun. And that's what I love about Oregon too. They preserve it all, and it's just open. So you're just like walking around, and you're like, so I could just like hang out here for 5 hours if I want. Like, okay, cool. So,
yep, exactly. So that we're pretty excited about that. What was I just about to say? I don't remember. But yeah, that's what's going on. Oh, I want to see if there's any kind of like really not old, but museums that maybe do talk about the history of the United States a little bit more. You know, when you go to, where were we? Have you been to DC before?
oh,
Like DC is a cool one because they've got a couple of the museums there are just unbelievable. And then I did the changing of the guard. You ever seen that?
In England?
DC.
No.
Where they change the
have that in, I didn't even know they had that in DC.
Yeah. So you know the fallen soldier, not the fallen, the anonymous. What the hell's that thing called in DC?
Oh, the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier.
Yeah, unknown soldier. Yeah. So they have the guard that changes there, and you see the change. And I should show you some photos next week, but it's pretty cool. I mean, it's just old. It's fun to watch, and they've been doing it for so many years. And I mean, these guys are trained up and clean and perfect. You know, like everything about it's perfect. So, yeah, it's pretty fun.
There's also like the East Coast. Isn't that like big witchcraft? There's all that history of the like Salem witch trials, or the.
Is Salem in Maine? Is that where it is?
There's a few Salems.
There's a Salem in Oregon. So you have a Salem.
Yeah. We have a Salem.
I think Salem might be the third oldest. Salem,
Massachusetts.
Oh, you're right. It is Massachusetts. I think that's the third oldest city in the U.S. I think.
Okay. Yeah, I know East Coast has like crazy old buildings and towns.
Yeah, that's where everybody settled in the 1817, and you know, and then people didn't come out west till late 1800s, mid to late, like 1870s maybe. You know.
Yeah, I think they just ended on the Oregon, the Oregon Trail. That's why Oregon has such a historic thing, is we're the end of the line. So then people spread from there.
So the Oregon Trail, was it people traveling from the east to the west, or was people traveling from the northwest to the southwest?
I thought it was east to west.
Yeah, east to west, that long 3,000-mile journey, right?
Yeah, it's like Lewis and Clark and Sacagawea basically kind of like set a trail, not set a trail, but kind of like mapped out a certain section. So I think once that was sent back, then people were like, okay, we're going to do that trail because, you mapped it out. So we have at least some understanding and some forewarning.
They should have gone a little more south. I mean, going through North Dakota, Montana, and it's like super cold if you hit it the wrong time. You know what I mean?
I mean,
you don't know that though. Like,
I could only but they had Sacagawea. So I mean, from what I understand, like she pretty much made the trip because she knew the land, or at least had connections to talk to people who did.
I would assume they knew what seasons were by then.
Right, but I mean,
you know,
but like, how do you survive? Like, I think they had to kind of just keep going, so she could teach them how to survive in those conditions.
if
And
you
then,
happen to cross through the
right,
Dakotas in January, here's what you do. But maybe
or
you
even
should try
like,
to.
hey, we got to head north. Hey, it's gonna be colder. Yeah, I understand. There's these things called the fucking. I mean, I'm sure she didn't call them the Rocky Mountains, but these things called the Rocky Mountains. Yeah, we can get south, motherfucker. I know it's
John
warm,
Denver's full of
but
shit.
yeah, totally. Like they're like, not this time of year, or depending on that. Like, can you? I
Great
can
movie.
imagine what a crazy trip that would have been. We have a cool statue of her with her child on her back, and she's like looking out over the gorge and the river and stuff. Damn, dude, it's so fun having kids who like to do stuff.
Yeah.
Because we do stuff, and it's to a point now where it's like I love some of the intimate. Because I learned one thing about Oregon and Oregonians, they will share if you shut the fuck up about it. Like, they don't, if they get a whiff of you're gonna post it or whatever, and it's 100% true. We haven't been here that long, and we have seen certain wonderful mystical spots just become
Popular.
people, not just popular, but people come and then they bring their fucking dogs, and you find dogs shit bags.
Right.
Like, 8 piles? You got to be fucking kidding me! This is ridiculous. But certain ones we've kept on the DL. We don't tell shit.
That's the thing. Like the U.S. period. There's an infinite amount of places that you can go visit that aren't popular. Like here, here you have. That's a horrible example. Horseshoe Bend and the other one, what's it called? Antelope Canyon.
Oh yeah,
I didn't know what that was 15 years ago. No idea.
for sure.
And now everyone goes there. Everyone goes there so much that they're actually putting a railing at Horseshoe Canyon, or they did. So you're right. Like, you almost want to keep it a secret and be like, no, we didn't go there. No, we did not.
Oh,
your secret fishing spot.
Like, you post a picture. People are like, "Hey, where is that?" And you're like, "Oregon."
Yeah, there's Oregon.
Where's it? It's on the coast.
Yeah. Good luck finding it.
I just, you gotta I don't know. We were just looking
around. How many people are in front of Cannon Beach like this? You know what I mean? Like everyone goes to Cannon Beach, which Cannon Beach is cool as shit. No discount there.
Oh, it is.
I mean, Haystack. That one. Is that Cannon?
Haystack Rock is the name of that.
That thing is badass. I love that thing.
It is. Yeah. No.
We went there.
So many good times. Like, I should post. I should, next time we went and saw. I mean, it's a weird. Maybe it's not weird. There's been a lot of beached whales. So every time
you showed me. Yeah, you showed me one.
Like, kids, let's go. And
are they dead though?
Yeah.
Oh damn! They just wash up dead.
Yeah, like that's why we're like, let's get on it, because the later
like old age,
huh?
Old age, or how does this happen?
No, different things. Like the last one we went to was really interesting, and Oli was like taking pictures. She was all up in there because they're not sure why it died. It was a rare bluefin 40-foot bluefin whale. It had been attacked by orcas, they think, because of the bite marks. Yeah,
that'll take a shitload of okras to orc. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
To do that kind of damage.
A lot of okras. No,
okras are a vegetable.
Flash marks on the side.
That's
but
nice.
It was really cool just to go see, because it wasn't easily accessible. Number one, you had to like off-road it and trek for a while. So, but it was cool. It was a little.
How do you find out about this? Like, people post it?
Yeah, absolutely. I follow a marine biologist, and she posts certain things, and like she'll be like, "Oh, we're doing because what they did is, because of the bites, because of certain things, they take little sections of the flesh, especially when it's new. Like this was like very new, very fresh. So the original picture she posted, I was like, yeah, we're going. This Friday, we're getting out of school. Boom. Everybody get ready.
Oh, hang on. How long does this whale carcass able to hang on before it needs to be hauled away?
Oh, Saro Govan. You know what's funny? I should post this. There's a video. So what they used to do in the 80s or 90s, they were like, hey, we got an idea to get rid of this, 40-foot whale. Let's fill it full of dynamite, we'll blow it up, and it'll vaporize. What a great idea, right? So people are watching nearby. They do it. It shoots whale parts that are so large, so far. It starts smashing people's cars, the hoods. Like it shows like videos. They're just like they're running through.
I gotta see this.
Smelliest, nasty. It's like and they're like,
I gotta see this. No, you gotta show that video next week.
Yeah, it shows this guy just go. Oh, it's just the worst.
I'm gonna find it. Hang on. What would I
usually find it? Put Oregon
dynamite
whale explosion. Like
explosion.
I guarantee it'll come up.
Exploding Whale 50th anniversary remastered.
Remastered. We can get the remastered.
We're watching this right now. Hold on. We're gonna end on this because we've hit our mark. But
this is what a great. Are you presenting? There you go.
RentReady is a property management solution for landlords. They're going to help you list property.
Take off the commercial. There we go.
Collect rent.
Being manager of your properties is not passive.
Just skip it.
It had to be said, the Oregon State Highway Division not only
See, that looks like a sperm whale.
hands, it had a stinking whale of a problem. What to do with one 45-foot, 8-ton whale
50 years ago.
dead on arrival on the beach near Florence? It had been so long since.
And I'm gonna fast forward through some of it, but here's the dynamite.
Yeah, dude, it's a shit ton. Like they're not fucking around.
Disintegrated by the blast, and that any small piece.
Yeah, I love that theory.
The explosion would be taken.
What theory? They were so wrong.
Indeed, the
Oh, dude, it's so
so the scavengers.
Hang on. We should find George and call him.
I'm confident that it'll work. The only thing is, we're not sure just exactly how much explosives it'll take to disintegrate this.
Look at the kid in the background. Dude, just kicking at the whale.
Is there any chance?
1980.
More than a one-day job? If there's any large chunks left, and we may have to do some other cleanup.
He got fired for sure. The same day you're fired.
On the leeward side of the big mammal, so as most of the remains would be blown toward the sea. About 75 bystanders, most of them residents who had first found the whale to be an object of curiosity before they tired of its smell.
It was so massive.
Hang on. We got to see the explosion.
The sand dunes there were covered and blubber newsmen, where the blast blasted blubber beyond all believable bounds.
Here we go. 10 seconds. 4. Look at the graphics. It's awesome.
And then it
falling. Look.
Now they're falling.
It's raining parts.
Yeah, dude. Stinking, rotting flesh.
Our camera stopped rolling immediately after the blast. The humor of the entire situation suddenly gave way to a run for survival as huge chunks of whale blubber fell.
Oh my God.
Pieces of meat
As a run for survival.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
The dunes were rapidly evacuated as spectators escaped both the falling debris and the overwhelming smell. A parked car over a quarter of a mile from the blast.
Quarter of a mile.
Look at that, dude.
Passenger compartment literally.
That's a nice.
smashed.
That's a cat ear.
Fortunately, no human was hit as badly as the car. However, everyone on the scene was covered with small particles of dead whale. As for
Whale.
the success of the effort,
That's how they said
seagulls are
whale
supposed
back
to clean
then.
things
Whale.
up nowhere in sight. Either
Kid's
scared
like,
away
Dad,
by
your
the
car.
Everyone's like, you want to go watch the
by the
explosion?
smell.
And then you
It
get
didn't really
covered.
matter. The remaining
There goes our
chunks were such a
drive,
size that no
what's it called?
respectable seagull would attempt to tackle
Drive-in
anyway.
movie night.
As darkness began to set in, the highway crews were back on the beach burying the remains, including a large piece of the carcass which never left the blast site.
Jesus.
It might be concluded that should a whale ever wash ashore in Lane County again, those in charge will not only remember what to do, they'll certainly remember what not to do.
They sure will. I didn't know about this. That's pretty funny.
Yeah. So now they just let nature take its course, and there's a whole ecosystem that survives off of the washed up remains of marine life.
What if that thing washes up in like a beach where there's people hanging out? They got to remove that thing, right? It just sits there and like things snack on it for 6 weeks.
Oregon's a little different because the entire coastline is owned by the state, so it's like an open park basically.
There's no private beach.
So it's up to them, and that's probably a lot to maintain. So they just go, yeah, let it rot. It's just a park. So if you want to go some other, honestly, it's the greatest. That's what I love about this coast is since there isn't a lot of restaurants and businesses or hotels because no one owns it. Like
right,
you can explore and get your own little piece of quiet. It just depends. Like if you don't go to the if you don't go to Cannon Beach, then you're good. Like honestly,
right. Yeah, Cannon Beach is a little bit more commercialized than
That's like it's the quickest from Portland. That's why it's so popular. You just zip it there.
But it's still pretty tame compared to other beach towns that are, more commercialized. But anyway,
there is great. So anywhere you want to go, most.
If you guys liked this episode, first of all, thank you. Yeah, go ahead and follow this YouTube page of ours. And we'll eventually get it on the other things, right? Like Spotify and Apple and all that stuff.
Yeah, I actually do remove the video, and then I have the audio saved because it's not a lot to save, but I just haven't sat down and fiddled with it. The last couple of weeks have just been crazy because as we are School for Deaf, we just have towards the end of the year, we have SLP and TOD meetings, which are just supports because we have 2 or 3 kids graduating. So next year, every one of these kids has a different support system because they're going to be like one of them's going to a deaf school, one of them's going to public mainstream, and then one of them's going to a kind of a hybrid program that's kind of new. So they all have their own evaluation supports. So they want to have meetings with the teachers and sit in and watch them and how they engage. So it's just a lot because you're trying to, you're just trying to like support them as best as you can. But since everything's different, it's just like, it's just a lot sometimes. So many meetings and stuff. So
a couple more months, 3 more months, it'll be summer vacay for a little bit.
Oh, just the weather. The sun coming out makes everybody feel better. The rain and the cold is just, we're all over it. So, but thank you for joining us, everybody.
I'm tired.
And I am going to just go ahead and say thank you. Have a good night. See you next week.